Hello one and all, welcome back to yet another movie review, and this time I shall be reviewing Breakdown, which came out in 1997. It is directed by Jonathan Moskow and stars Kurt Russell. Now, I'm fully aware that this movie isn't seen by a lot of people. However, though, I am still going to spoil this movie because it's hard for me not to spoil this movie. So if you guys have not seen the movie Breakdown, check out the movie first, because I am going to go into spoilers. So I am going to be easy if you haven't. But if you don't care, welcome anyways. Or if you have seen it, welcome otherwise. So the movie follows when a couple drives across country to California. Their car breaks down in a dissolute regression, and the wife disappears. The husband's frantic search for his missing wife involves a chain of crimes. And so that is just pretty much what Breakdown is. So during Black Friday, when I was in HMV one time, this movie came out in 4K around the time. It was a very new release on 4K, so I knew I really wanted to watch this movie sometime, because I heard some pretty good things from the people that have seen this movie. I myself wanted to watch it because I love action thrillers myself. And so this was 20% off its Black Friday deal, and I knew I had to get it on 4K. And boy, watching this movie, what a movie this is. This is well directed by Jonathan Moskow, who really structures this movie very well. It is 93 minutes long, and each act plays extremely well. Like, I love the first act, where you have Jeffrey, played by Kurt Russell, who's excellent in this film. And you also have Kathleen Quinlan, who plays Amy, the wife of Jeffrey. And then they're driving along cross country in California. Suddenly their car breaks down, and while the car breaks down, this truck comes over. You have a guy J.T. Welch, who's the protagonist in this movie, who is taken off to look after Jeffrey's wife. But later on in the movie, you realise he has somewhat of a twist, where he is somewhat disacknowledging what he was doing to Jeffrey's wife, looking after her. In some way, he's a kidnapper and saying, look, I don't recognize you, but Jeffrey does recognize him because of that reason of the wife. And so this movie is extremely well acted, and I just really love how Kurt Russell is in this movie. Like, you can really tell that he cares about his wife, and yet he's trying to travel to these people, like in this cafe area where he's sort of been telling to know about his wife. And so he asks the cafe keeper, have you seen my wife? If you see my wife, let me know, I'll be back. And then later on in the movie, he's the cafe shopkeeper is somewhat against him. He's pointing a gun at him, saying, look, I've had enough. And another scene I really love in Breakdown is you have this police car come over. Jeffrey is waving at the police car. Then you have this cop come out and then investigating the lorry. And yet Warren, played by J.T. Welch, is still disregarding on having to look after Amy Taylor, the wife. And so the cop is basically trying to be on Warren's side, saying, look, Jeffrey, I have no idea why you're bringing me here. But yet Jeffrey really, really believes that Warren stole his wife. And so Jeffrey looks in the lorry as well himself, because he recognizes that lorry. And Kurt Russell is so good in this movie. His body language, he's just really worried about what's going on. Of course, later on in the movie, you see this guy who, from a gas station, is coming after him. Jeffrey is driving the red car and goes on this river and tries to get away from him, and then captures him again and duct tapes the gas station guy. Like Kurt Russell's character really goes hard on him, beating him up and just duct taping him. And another police car comes over and then gets shot by the gas station guy and also gets killed. And what I really love is when the cop is trying to call the police for backup, and then Jeffrey's trying to be involved with the call as well, trying to get the ambulance that we have a cop down. It's so clever. I really love that. Something what you rarely get in movies nowadays, and what also you rarely get in movies nowadays is what the actors are doing. They're doing real things. There's no use of fake scenes or CGI, yada yada. Kurt Russell is doing real things, especially whenever he's getting on the truck. And I love the shot where he's sort of holding on to the truck and you see the wedding ring, which technically speaking describes the movie. And so realizes he can't get underneath the truck the whole time, even though he really, really does do that. I mean, this is pretty much a Raiders of the Lost Ark truck chasing of the 90s as far as I'm concerned. This stuff is wonderful. And then, of course, Jeffrey gets near the front of the truck. Of course, Wharton, played by J.T. Welsh, goes back home to see his family, and then Jeffrey is sneaking through the house and sees that his wife is getting covered in like somewhat of a mummy in some way, and starts to kidnap her and hide into this somewhat ground floor loft, whatever. And then Jeffrey sneaks through the kitchen where you see Worm himself, his friends, and his wife as well. And yet Jeffrey is just coming in slightly, and then Warren's son is pointing a gun at him. That had me on the edge of my seat. And yet I love how he does somewhat make an effort to shoot, but shoots one of the other guys instead. And so Kurt Russell's character completely orders the entire family to save his wife, gets his wife out of there, puts the entire family down there, and kicks Warren down there. It's awesome. It is how you handle a brilliant, thrilling moment. Of course, you have a great scene involved within the couple, and then Warren somehow escapes. You have the car and the truck and two other cars next to each other. It is a work of art, to say the least, and one of the most underrated movies of the 90s as far as I'm concerned. I mean, more people really need to watch this movie. And I just love the moment where the truck is somewhat getting fallen off the edge. Jeffrey and Warren are fighting each other. The one falls off and then realizes that he is not dead. Yeah, and so the wife turns the shear gift in and the gear shift, and the truck eventually falls down to its actual death, which is very satisfying. And of course, they're the couple are reunited, Kurt Russell and Kathleen Quinlan, and that's the movie over. One thing I forgot to mention earlier at the beginning of the video is the opening title sequence. It is classic, something you rarely get nowadays in films. Like, I just love how the title breakdown just somewhat comes towards the screen. Then you have somewhat this sort of lines that make a map in the location where the movie is set. That is brilliant stuff. So overall, guys, breakdown, to say the least, is a roller coaster ride. I love this movie. It pretty much feels like Steven Spielberg's Duel, and also Joyride with Paul Walker, the great late Paul Walker. And yeah, Breakdown just seems like the most thrilling as far as I'm concerned. It's the most action-packed, I think, anyway. You know, the acting is superb. The directing is spot on. The way the acts work in the movie, particularly for a 93-minute movie, really goes by. I'm going to give Breakdown an A. In case if you guys haven't seen it, I did kind of spoil the movie already, but definitely check out this movie sometime, guys. It is worth your time. There you go, guys. That was my review on Breakdown. Comment down below. Let me know below what you guys think of this movie. If you have seen it, let me know below in the comments. And as always, guys, if you're new here, I'm a movie reviewer from the UK that likes to do movie reviews, especially classics, and I, of course, do new releases. But classics are my favourite types of videos to make. It's my favourite thing to do on my channel, and it keeps me the most motivated. And as always, if you're new, please feel free to comment, like, subscribe, share this video, and notify that bell before you leave. If you're new, please feel free to do all of those. But if you're a returner, welcome back and hope you're enjoying my content so far. And as always, till my next video, I shall see you then, and peace.